Marcus Aurelius stopped caring what people think. In the vast tapestry of human existence, few threads are as persistently tangled as our concern for the opinions of others. Today we embark on a profound journey into the mind of one of history's greatest philosopher kings, Marcus Aurelius, to unravel this knot and liberate ourselves from the tyranny of external judgment. As we delve into the wisdom of this Stoic emperor, we'll explore not just why we should stop caring what others think, but how to achieve this elusive state of inner freedom. Marcus Aurelius, ruling at the apex of the Roman Empire, was a man who, by all accounts, should have been consumed by the opinions of others. Every decision, every word, every gesture was scrutinized by subjects, senators, and historians alike. Yet, in his personal writings, later compiled as meditations, we find a man striving for and often achieving a remarkable independence from the judgments of others. How did he manage this, and what can we learn from his insights? Let us begin with a fundamental question: why do we care so deeply about what others think of us? This concern is not merely a modern affliction born of social media and constant connectivity. It's a deeply ingrained aspect of human nature, rooted in our evolutionary past. As social creatures, our ancestors' survival often depended on acceptance by the group. Those who were overly concerned with fitting in, with being viewed favorably, were more likely to survive and pass on their genes. We are, in a sense, hardwired to seek approval. But here's where Marcus Aurelius challenges us. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's beneficial or necessary in our current context. He writes, "It never ceases to amaze me we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This paradox lies at the heart of our struggle. We prioritize others' views over our own, often to our detriment. Consider for a moment how much of your life is dictated by the imagined opinions of others. How often do you hesitate to speak your mind, to pursue your passions, or to live authentically because of fear of judgment? Marcus Aurelius would argue that in doing so, we're not only diminishing our own happiness, but failing in our duty to live virtuously and contribute meaningfully to the world. The Stoic philosophy that Marcus Aurelius espoused teaches that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external validation, but from living in accordance with virtue and reason. He reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates a radical shift in perspective. If our happiness is determined by our thoughts, then the opinions of others become irrelevant to our well-being. But how do we make this shift? It's one thing to intellectually understand that we shouldn't care what others think, and quite another to embody this principle in our daily lives. Marcus Aurelius offers us several strategies. First, he encourages us to recognize the impermanence of opinions. Remember that all is opinion, he writes. Opinions, both our own and those of others, are fleeting and changeable. They are not facts, not immutable truths, but merely temporary perspectives. By remembering this, we can loosen their hold on us. Secondly, he advises us to focus on our own actions and intentions rather than their reception. Do what is right. The rest doesn't matter. This is a call to align our actions with our values, regardless of how they might be perceived. It's about integrity, about being true to ourselves rather than molding ourselves to fit others' expectations. Thirdly, Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the limited perspective of those who judge us. We should not say that a man is strong because he can overpower us, or think that a wild boar is dangerous because it has tusks. We should look at things as they really are. In other words, Those who judge us often do so from a place of limited understanding. Their opinions are colored by their own experiences, biases, and insecurities. Recognizing this can help us take their judgments less personally. As we reflect on these insights, I invite you to ponder, what would your life look like if you truly stopped caring what others thought? How would your decisions change? What dreams would you pursue? What truths would you speak? The answers to these questions hold the key to a life of authenticity and purpose. But let us not mistake this philosophy for a call to selfishness or disregard for others. Marcus Aurelius was, after all, an emperor deeply committed to his duties and to the welfare of his people. The goal is not to ignore others entirely, but to find a balance where we can consider others' well-being without being enslaved by their opinions. As we conclude this first part of our exploration, I challenge you to take one small step towards this ideal. Perhaps it's speaking up in a meeting when you'd usually stay silent, or pursuing a passion you've kept hidden for fear of judgment. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into the practical applications of this philosophy, exploring how we can cultivate the inner strength to truly embody these principles in our daily lives. But for now, I invite you to sit with these ideas, to question your assumptions about the importance of others' opinions, and to begin the challenging yet liberating process of reclaiming your inner authority. The alchemy of self-mastery, forging unshakable inner conviction. As we delve deeper into Marcus Aurelius' wisdom, we encounter a profound truth: the journey to stop caring what others think is not merely about indifference, but about cultivating an unshakable inner conviction. This alchemical process transforms the base metal of external validation into the gold of self-mastery. Consider the emperor's words: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Here lies the core of our transformation. We cannot control others' opinions, but we have absolute dominion over our own minds. This realization is both liberating and terrifying. It places the responsibility for our happiness and self-worth squarely on our own shoulders. But how do we wield this power effectively? Marcus Aurelius offers us a roadmap. First, he advises us to focus on our own character. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This simple yet profound statement challenges us to shift our energy from worrying about others' perceptions to actively embodying our values. I ask you, what would it look like to fully commit to being the person you aspire to be, regardless of external approval? How might your actions change if you were guided solely by your principles rather than the fear of judgment? The Stoic emperor also reminds us of the futility of seeking universal approval. It is impossible to please everyone. Even if you try to be the sweetest, ripest peach in the world, there will always be someone who doesn't like peaches. This metaphor elegantly captures the absurdity of our quest for unanimous approval. It's not just difficult, it's impossible. Instead of this fruitless pursuit, Marcus Aurelius encourages us to find contentment in our own actions and intentions. He writes, "Do what is right. The rest doesn't matter." This is not a call to ignore the consequences of our actions, but rather to focus on what we can control: our choices and our integrity. But let's be clear. This path is not easy. It requires constant vigilance and practice. We must train ourselves to recognize when we're being swayed by the opinions of others and consciously redirect our focus to our own values and judgments. One practical strategy Marcus Aurelius suggests is to regularly contemplate our own mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This memento mori serves as a powerful reminder of what truly matters. When faced with the finite nature of our existence, the petty judgments of others fade into insignificance. I challenge you to ask yourself, if today were your last day, would you spend it worrying about others' opinions or living true to your deepest convictions? As we internalize these teachings, we begin to develop a kind of ethical gravity, a centered, grounded sense of self that isn't easily swayed by external forces. This inner strength doesn't make us impervious to others' thoughts or immune to feedback. Rather, it allows us to engage with the world from a place of authenticity and purpose. Remember, the goal is not to become cold or indifferent to others. Marcus Aurelius, despite his Stoic principles, was known for his compassion and duty to his people. The aim is to find a balance where we can consider others' well-being without being enslaved by their judgments. As we conclude this segment, I urge you to reflect on your own journey towards inner conviction. What areas of your life are still overly influenced by the opinions of others? How can you begin to reclaim your power in these areas? In our next part, we'll explore how this philosophy can be applied to navigate the complex social landscapes of our lives, from personal relationships to professional environments. But for now, I invite you to sit with these ideas, to question your assumptions, and to take one small step towards living more authentically, guided by your own inner compass, rather than the ever-shifting winds of public opinion. The crucible of social dynamics, navigating relationships with Stoic wisdom. As we venture further into the realm of Stoic philosophy and its application to our concern with others' opinions, we find ourselves confronting a paradox. How do we balance our newfound commitment to inner conviction with the undeniable reality of our social nature? Marcus Aurelius, despite his teachings on self-reliance, was not an advocate for isolation or misanthropy. Instead, he offers us a nuanced approach to navigating social dynamics while maintaining our integrity. Consider his words, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This profound statement encapsulates a key principle in dealing with others' judgments or actions towards us. Instead of retaliating or becoming consumed by others' negativity, we are challenged to rise above, to embody our highest values regardless of how we are treated. But how do we apply this in practice? Imagine a scenario where a colleague criticizes your work unjustly. The natural reaction might be to defend yourself vehemently or to reciprocate with criticism. The Stoic approach, however, would be to respond with grace and to focus on improving your work rather than engaging in a battle of egos. I ask you, how might your relationships transform if you consistently chose to respond to negativity with virtue rather than retaliation? Marcus Aurelius also reminds us of the interconnectedness of all humans. We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. To act against one another, then, is contrary to nature. This perspective invites us to view even those who judge us harshly as part of the same human community. It doesn't mean we must agree with everyone or tolerate abuse, but it does encourage a more compassionate and understanding approach to our interactions. In our professional lives, this philosophy can be particularly powerful. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of criticism or failure, we can focus on contributing value and living up to our own standards of excellence. Marcus advises, do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors, to wonder what so-and-so is doing and why. Such things keep you from attending to your own soul. This is not a call to ignore feedback or become insensitive to others. Rather, it's about discernment, learning to distinguish between constructive input that aligns with our values and baseless opinions that distract us from our path. In our personal relationships, this approach can lead to more authentic connections. When we're not constantly adjusting our behavior to please others or avoid judgment, we create space for genuine intimacy. We become more present, more honest, and ultimately more lovable in our authenticity. But let's acknowledge the challenge here. In a world of social media and constant connectivity, it can feel like we're always on stage, always being evaluated. How do we maintain our stoic resolve in the face of this perpetual scrutiny? Marcus Aurelius offers this: look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. This inner well of strength is our refuge in the storm of external opinions. It's a practice of continually returning to our core values, our true selves, amidst the noise of the world. As we conclude this segment, I challenge you to examine your social interactions through this stoic lens. How often do you compromise your values to avoid conflict or gain approval? How might your relationships change if you approach them from a place of unshakable self-assurance? In our final part, we'll explore how to solidify these principles into a sustainable life philosophy, creating lasting change in how we relate to others' opinions. But for now, I invite you to practice responding to one social situation today with stoic wisdom. Choose to act from your values rather than react to others' judgments. Observe how this shifts your experience and the dynamics of your interactions. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. The eternal flame of self-sovereignty, cultivating lasting liberation from external judgment as we reach the culmination of our exploration into Marcus Aurelius' wisdom on freeing ourselves from the opinions of others. We stand at the threshold of a transformative realization. The journey we've undertaken is not merely about developing a temporary resilience to judgment, but about kindling an eternal flame of self-sovereignty that will illuminate our path through life's myriad challenges. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, reminds us you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of our quest. The power to liberate ourselves from the tyranny of others' opinions lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering our own minds. But how do we transform this philosophical ideal into a lived reality? How do we cultivate a state of being where external judgments truly lose their power over us? The answer lies in consistent practice and a fundamental shift in our perspective on the nature of our existence. Consider for a moment the vast expanse of the universe and the fleeting nature of our individual lives within it. Marcus Aurelius often contemplated this cosmic perspective, writing, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, soon all things will have forgotten you." This memento mori, or reminder of our mortality, serves not as a source of despair but as a liberating force. When we truly internalize the transient nature of our existence and the ultimate insignificance of most daily concerns, the opinions of others begin to lose their stranglehold on our psyche. I challenge you to ask yourself, in the grand tapestry of the cosmos, how significant are the judgments of your colleagues, acquaintances, or even loved ones? How much of your precious, finite time and energy are you willing to sacrifice to the altar of others' approval? This cosmic perspective, however, does not advocate for nihilism or disregard for our fellow humans. Instead, it invites us to engage with life and others from a place of authenticity and purpose. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This call to action urges us to shift our focus from seeking approval to embodying our highest values. Imagine living each day guided not by the fear of judgment or the desire for praise, but by an unwavering commitment to your own principles. How would your decisions change? What bold actions might you take? What truths would you speak? To cultivate this state of being, we must engage in regular self-reflection and practice. Marcus Aurelius himself modeled this through his personal writings. Each day, take time to examine your thoughts and actions. Are they aligned with your values, or are they reactions to the perceived opinions of others? When you notice yourself being swayed by external judgments, gently but firmly redirect your focus to your own principles. Another powerful practice is to regularly expose yourself to situations where you might face judgment. Start small, perhaps by expressing an unpopular opinion in a safe environment or pursuing a passion that others might not understand. As you do this, focus not on the reactions of others, but on your own sense of integrity and purpose. With each experience, you'll find your resilience growing and your need for external validation diminishing. Remember, this journey is not about becoming impervious to the thoughts and feelings of others. As social beings, we will always be influenced to some degree by our interactions. The goal is to develop a strong enough sense of self that we can engage with others authentically, considering their input without being controlled by it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is the ultimate key to our liberation. We have the power to choose how we interpret and respond to the opinions of others. We can choose to see them as valuable feedback, as expressions of the other person's own fears and desires, or as ultimately irrelevant to our path. As we conclude this exploration, I urge you to commit to this practice of self-sovereignty. Make it a daily habit to remind yourself of your values, to contemplate your place in the vast universe, and to act from a place of inner conviction rather than external pressure. Remember, the opinions of others are like clouds in the sky, constantly shifting, insubstantial, and ultimately separate from the vast, clear expanse of your true self. Let them pass by without allowing them to obscure your inner light. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By mastering our thoughts, by choosing to value our own judgment above the fleeting opinions of others, we unlock a profound source of peace, purpose, and power. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you this question: what great work, what authentic expression of your true self has been waiting for you to liberate it from the prison of others' expectations? The world eagerly awaits your unbounded, genuine self. Go forth unshackled from the weight of external judgment and illuminate the world with your unique light.